Hey, what's up everybody, it's SNipEz. Welcome back to part 2 on how to make a airport. So you might notice right away that I've done a little bit of stuff off camera, and the only reason I've done this stuff is because I want to progress the airport going a little bit faster than the pace it's already going. Because I know for you guys that's watching me fill in the runway was not too fun, so I didn't want to put you guys through the torture of doing it again. So I would suggest pausing the video to see how I made these turns right here. I guess in real life, I forgot exactly what it's called. This little, I think it's like a taxiway, I believe is what it's called. But it starts from one end of the runway so the planes can get off and on the runway to take off, and after they land, they can get off. It's the exact same on the other side. So again, I would suggest pausing the video so you can see what exactly the design of it. It's actually a really simple design. It's just one turn, then the rest of it's a straightaway. I will tell you that the whole thing is 9 blocks wide, so if we count it right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. You also might notice a big stone area right here. This is where the planes are going to be landing, or not landing, excuse me, parking for the terminals. And so, to figure out how big this thing is, after you get your runway, your taxiway, whatever the hell it's called, done right here, what we're going to do is count over from this block right here, then count over 50. And then on the 50th block, you're going to place your first block of stone, and then you're going to go out 34 blocks from that first block you place. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side, and then you just fill the rest of it in with stone. I would suggest using TNT to clear it out. As you can see, if I get rid of one block here, TNT really helped. Just be careful on not, if you're doing this really close to the edge of the map, be careful using the TNT because there are some blocks you cannot get rid of unless you use TNT. And then if you get rid of it, you can't place a block there to cover it up. Okay, so we're going to start on the actual building itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the first building right here. As you can see, I have one block of stone. The reason this block of stone is here is to let me know this is the center of this big stone area. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take out some snow, and I'm going to come out 15 from the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Let's do the same thing to the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So we're going to take this wall up 5 tall. So let's take some swiftness real quick. That's a lot better. So this entire wall right here is going to be 5 tall. Don't worry, the wall is not going to, the building's not going to be just a plain white building. Because I already know I do use snow a lot. It's probably my favorite texture to use in Minecraft so far. But the whole building is not going to be snow. Do not worry about that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take out from this top, this 5th block of row, from the corner, you're going to come all the way out to just about right here. So 1, 2, on the 3rd block of stone from this white line. It's going to be right there. We're going to come all the way across. And then we're going to connect this corner with that corner. So it should be like a little box in here. Now, what we want to do is fill the rest of this in with, excuse me, I almost said stone, with snow. But before we do that, we're going to take out some gray wool. And we're going to add a layer of gray wool on top of the snow. And you'll see the purpose of this here in a minute. So what this area is right here, this is actually a, I don't know exactly what they're called. I guess it's like a viewing platform. It's not going to be a balcony, but the whole point of it is, we're going to make a little window right here. But anyways, back to what I was saying. The whole point of this is so if you're waiting at the airport, you're waiting for your plane, and you don't know what to do. A lot of airplane, I lost what I was trying to say. I'm having a brain fart. So before we continue with that, so I can actually think, what we're going to do is, as you can see, I went up 2 blocks, and on the 3rd block, I added another layer of gray wool. On top of this layer of gray wool, we're going to add another one. But anyways, back to what I was saying earlier. The whole point of this is so you can watch the planes land and then take off, because when you're sitting in an airport, there's not really too much to do besides listen to music, watch stuff on your iPad. And so if you want to watch the planes land and take off, this is what this is there for. Alright, let's add one more layer of gray wool up 2 blocks. So what these are windows. So I'm kind of thinking we should have a lot of different floors. I would say maybe 2 floors for the actual airplane terminals or the building itself. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take some snow out and then fill in underneath the gray wool. So on the first layer of snow, we're going to fill all of this in with snow. Whew, it is really hot out today. It is, I believe, 94 degrees out, and then there is no wind at all because it's just really humid, and so it just makes it that much worse. If there's a little bit of wind, it'd be so much better, but in Missouri, we don't have any good weather ever. Maybe once a year we have one good day, but I guess you kind of get used to it after a while. I think it's funny because Crown, TT Crown Royal, he actually lives in California, in Bakersfield, I believe, and he's like, oh, don't even complain about hot weather because I live in the desert. And then me and him always have a joke to where we go, because he'll text me saying, dude, it's like 98 degrees out today. It's like, oh, that's pretty cold. Make sure you wear your blanket. He's like, yeah, I'll make sure I get my blanket out. It's pretty chilly here. Just a little inside joke between us. I'm not even really sure if it's a joke. It's just something we do just to mess with them. So I'm actually trying to use my new controller that I got from Zacco's Modding Company. His website will be in the description. And he got me this controller, which is extremely, part of my language, but it's really badass. So a lot of you guys know my colors for my channel. In order, they go from white, cyan wool, and then orange. So those are my colors for my channel, and he made it to where my controller from the left to the right follows the colors of my channel, and it looks extremely cool. So if you guys want customized controllers, when I say his company says Zacco's Modding Company, when he says modding, he doesn't mean like a modded controller to where it has like rapid fire and stuff like that. It means like modified, so your controller is going to look different than just the regular A, B, X, and Y. It's going to look different from the D-pad. They're working on some more stuff, but they're really working really hard to bring out new stuff for you guys, just so you guys can customize the controller the exact way you want it. And this controller is extremely just BA in my opinion. I'm extremely happy I have it. My left analog stick is silver because that was the closest thing they had to white. My D-pad is cyan. My right analog stick is orange. My center button is cyan. My back button is silver. And then my start button is orange as well. Then he also made it to where he sent me some extra pieces to where I can change out some of the stuff on my controller. And so I can change out my A, B, X, and Y to different colors. Right now my X and A are silver, and then my Y and B are orange. And then the triggers, the left one is silver, and then the right one is blue. So it's just a really extremely badass looking controller. Part of my language. Okay, so as you can see, we have this big area just floating up in the air. So that's not really realistic. So what we're going to do, we're going to add some pillars. We don't want to make just a plain wall because, let's be honest, plain walls are just boring. So we're going to add some pillars so you can actually go underneath it. So we're going to find the center of this. So it should be in the center of the back wall, which should be right here. What we're going to do is going to count from the corners. Let's start from the corners just to be a little bit safer. The pillars are not going to be a 1x1 pillar. They're actually going to be a 2x2 square. So they actually look a little bit more realistic when it comes to holding up a building. Let's do the same thing to the other corner as well. So let's have the pillars come all the way down to the stone down at the bottom. Alright, then let's have the pillar being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On the 8th block is where you start making the next pillar from the last one. So the same thing from this one over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're going to make the pillars, and then we stack them all the way up to the ceiling, or the roof, whatever you want to call it. All up to you. Okay. So that's what that looks like. Now we have some pillars, but we're also going to add some pillars on the sides as well. So every pillar is going to be the same distance away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so the pillars are going to be symmetrical on both sides. So what you do to one side, you're going to do to the other side as well. Okay. So we have some pillars to do on the other side. I will sleep here in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the other one should be right here. Alright, let's start stacking up these pillars. Shouldn't take too long. We're moving pretty fast. Some of the things I have on my controller that actually help me, and like if a lot of you are Call of Duty fans, Battlefield fans, I have trigger stops, and the whole point of trigger stops is it makes it to where you have like this little, I don't know what to call it, like a little piece that you stick in between the trigger, and the triggers actually have holes in them, so you can actually customize how fast, because in Black Ops 2 I know if you barely pull the trigger it shoots the gun, so why use that extra full trigger when you can just barely tap it and shoot? And that's what the trigger stops do. It helps you shoot faster. So it's kind of like rapid fire in a way. Okay, so that's what that looks like so far. So I think what we should do is we should extend the building out to the left and right. So we're going to have the building come all the way back to the grass right here. Then we're going to have it come all the way across. I'll count it here in a second. Alright, let's stop it right there. That looks like a pretty good amount of... No, let's extend it out all the way to the end of the stone, so we can actually have full planes in here, so we can have a lot of planes. So a lot of people ask me, will I be doing a tutorial on how to make a plane for the airport? The question is, or the answer is no, I will not be doing that, just because I will be honest with you, I am not great at making planes. I know how to make fighter jets, but when it comes to actual airplanes, like cruise liners, or why did I say cruise liners? That's a ship, isn't it? Passenger airplanes, I cannot do it. Honestly, I want to be honest with you. I'm not really too good at it, and I don't really want to give you guys something that would look bad. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to stack up these walls to where they're going to be 5 tall. Let's make them 5 tall. And I did realize my swiftness ran out. And so the airport itself is actually going to be symmetrical. So again, what you do to one side, you're going to do to the other. So what, we have 3 more layers. Alright, this is one of my fastest ways to build walls, because I can reach down 3 blocks with swiftness. I think you can do it without swiftness as well, but with swiftness it goes a little bit faster. And what I do is I just keep mashing the trigger, so I place blocks faster, and then the wall gets done a little bit faster as well. At least I'm not sure if it actually is faster, but it does feel faster, if that makes sense. My throat's getting a little bit dry. I think after we get done with this wall, I'm gonna take a sip of water, which is something I really need right now. And we should almost be done with the wall, hopefully. Yep, we're almost there. And there we go. So that's what that wall is going to look like. We're going to add more to that, don't worry. Let me take a sip of water. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, so what we're going to do is, since this building is going to be symmetrical, to save a little bit of time, we're just going to do one side at a time. And then what you guys can do is, after you get done with one of the sides, you can go do the other, since it is going to be symmetrical. Okay, so we need to make some windows, because airports have a lot of windows. So what we're going to do is we're going to have gray wool coming diagonal from this 5 block tall wall. Then we're going to have it come all the way across. So I'm kind of thinking, should we use other materials for the building? I mean, I know you guys can use any material you want, but I'm trying to think of good materials that you guys would like. So I kind of think like we should continue the pattern of this looking area, the pattern of the windows, all the way across. And then we can actually add some pillars into the windows themselves for a little bit more look. Ooh, here's an idea. So when you get to this layer, you can see now we would have a second layer of gray wool on top. Let's have this come diagonal as well. Let's see how this looks. Again, you guys don't have to do all of this. I've actually never made this building before. There's actually a brand new design for me. A lot of you guys know I've made an airport in my city, but that was a completely different design when it comes to the building itself. So I'm trying something a little bit new, and hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully it will actually look like an airport. In my first airport, I really didn't have a lot of room for planes, and that's why in this one I'm trying to make a little bit more room for them. Alright, let's make pillars going up from the sides to connect the edge of the windows. The same thing up here. So how does that look from a distance? I think that's looking pretty good. So I think the top floor will be all for like watching, and then the bottom floor is going to be where you actually get onto your plane. So this is one of the hardest things to do without having a plane already here or making the terminals, is because we can always customize the windows later. So I think that's what we should do. And so what I'm going to do is every window is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 6 blocks where I'm going to place the pillar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, swiftness ran out. That's cool. It's not like I wanted it anyways. Let's take some more of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we can just like make the rest of this a plain wall. So how does that look? I think that looks pretty good. And then what we could actually do is we can continue it later. Let's make the rest of these pillars. The pillars are going to go in the exact same spot as the ones down below for the top area. And what we could actually do, let's see how this looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these pillars using snow to see how it looks. Then you guys can use your opinion on which one you guys think looks better, because it's always good to have several options to have. So each pillar is going to be snow on the top, just to see how it looks and which one looks better. So how does it look? I'm not really sure. They both look pretty good in my opinion. It's kind of a hard answer. Alright, so what I was thinking was we turn this wall and have it come all the way over to the runway over here, and we stop it, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So on the 6th block away from the runway. Now we're going to turn it, and this should come out like maybe 15 blocks. Now let's turn it back, going back towards the original wall itself. And so how does that look? So we're going to have to stack this up 5 tall. And, trying to think of like some cool designs we could do to make this a little bit, maybe look a little bit better, I guess is a good word for it. I'm just trying to think of some different designs to use, because I've looked at a couple pictures of actual airplane buildings just to get some ideas, and a lot of them are just flat on the back, just so the planes can actually what's the right word? I can't think of any of the words that I need to say today for some reason. In order for the planes to park for the terminal, I think that's the word I was looking for. Alright, so one thing I want to do is, I don't like how this is just a plain wall. So the only thing we could do is we could add some garage areas for the workers, but we could always do that later. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's continue doing this. So let's continue the gray wall going around the outside of the snow wall, because I do like this design a lot. Stack it up. Then we're going to have it come all the way back around. Again, so what I'm doing to this side, you're going to do exactly to the other side. So this is going to be a symmetrical building. And then we want to make this the same corner area. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it actually looks like it was supposed to be there. So here's what I'm kind of thinking for the top. So as you can see, we have the top area on that back platform, but I kind of don't want to do it here. What if we did more of a arch for this one? So if we make an arch like this, come diagonal, go up one more. Now let's have it to be 1. This is making an arch like this is kind of hard to explain because I don't really know how to explain it. Now 1. How does that look? I think that would actually look pretty good. So one thing we could actually do is use snow to outline it, and then the actual roof itself is going to be gray wool. Some people might be thinking, I know I've said this a lot in my older videos, why would you use wool? Because if it rains, it's going to catch on fire if it gets hit by lightning. Don't worry about that. It will actually not get burned down, because when it lightnings, it's always raining, and the rain actually puts out the fire. So do not worry about that. That's something you do not have to worry about. Alright, so we can actually make this a full window if we wanted to as well, but that's all up to you. So back to what I was saying earlier, let's sleep real quick, which is my bed, which is down here. Alright, nighty night time. We're still sleeping. There we go. Okay, so we could add some garage areas back here. So for the garage areas, we could use blocks of iron to actually look like a garage. We're gonna need some gray wool. So let's make the first one the second, by the second window on the left side, and the garage area is actually gonna be 3 tall, and it's gonna be just as long as the window itself. And so what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna move it black. We're gonna move it back 1 block, and you'll see why here in a second. Alright, so if we go back through the window, what we're going to do is now outline it in gray wool for a little bit more look. Okay, let's do the same. Actually, there we go. I did have it right. I forgot I added that extra layer. Alright, so that looks pretty good. We're going to need some stone to place right here to get rid of the dirt. I think the next one should be from the second window on the right side. Again, same size garage area. And so the whole point of these garage areas is so the little pushing carts for the luggages can be in here when they're not being used, or if they're being repaired. I'm not even sure if they actually have these kind of areas, but I'm going to put them in here anyways. Trying to be innovative. Let's get rid of the dirt. Replace it with regular stone. Alright, let's make the next one 2 windows away. So if we actually... So 1, 2 on the third one. 1, 2 on the third one. Alright, so we're going to skip 2 windows, and then on the third window, we're going to make the garage area again. Again, make it 3 tall. Iron blocks go behind the snow wall. Not like that, like this. Get rid of the dirt. I used the wrong material there. Make the outline in gray wool, not the floor. Okay, let's do the same thing with this one. I might as well just get rid of all this, since we're gonna have to do it anyways. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I put the doors in the wrong spot. No surprise there. Now we can make the outline using the gray wool. Alright, so how's that look? I think that looks a little bit better. It gives it a little bit more look to it. Then another thing we could do is just add some pillars in between for a little bit more support and look. So add another pillar like right here. Okay, so that's looking pretty good so far in my opinion. But my opinion doesn't really matter. It's all up to you guys on if you guys think it looks good. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back to this area over here later. What I want to do now is I want to fill these windows in with glass panes. And then we're going to end the video there for part 2. My swiftness just ran out. So we're going to use glass panes for the windows. And the windows are all going to be glass panes on this. Unless we use regular blocks for the ceiling. Just because glass panes don't really look good for a ceiling block. Just because you can actually see through them. And not in just like a window type, but I actually see through them with no window. That would be kind of cool to have something like that for a ceiling. Like instead of having glass blocks for a ceiling, what if you had like a sideways glass pane? I don't know, just an idea. I mean, it would be better. I mean, you could use it for like sunroofs in your house or whatever they're called. Is there any difference between a moonroof and a sunroof? I really don't think there is, but I'm not really sure. Alright, so all the windows are... How's it looking so far? I'm kind of leaning towards the gray wool for the pillars, but that's just my opinion. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to fill in all these windows. Again, a lot of repetitiveness when it comes to making stuff like this, especially when the runway itself is so big. I know a lot of people are like, really, a 300 block long runway? But you have to remember that runways in real life are not small, just because planes have to have a lot of room to take off. So it's actually kind of proportioned to what it would be like in real life, in my opinion. So that's why it's 300 blocks. You might notice that it's not too wide. And some people are saying you should add this. I forgot to add this. I'm not actually a pro person when it comes to making a airport. Like, I don't know the names for everything. I'm not sure if the runway needs to have a 360 degree symbol. I'm just making the runway on what I think it would look like. I looked at a couple pictures just to get an idea, and then I went from there. But I'm not going to add every single last detail. Some people are saying I should add lights on the side. That is a good idea. I have done that before. I've done it on my city map. Only problem with that is it makes the game really laggy with the 360 right now. Just because the 360, it's hard for Minecraft to run on the 360 right now, just because there's so much stuff it has to render. But hopefully on the Xbox One, when Minecraft is out for that, which I think is on launch, which I'm happy about, it will be a lot smoother, which I'm hoping it will be. Alright, so there we go. There's part 2. So I hope you guys like it. Stay tuned in for part 3 of the airport. So thanks for watching, guys. Please rate and subscribe, and stay tuned in for more videos.